these white X's in the street right here. I wonder how many of you watching this know what those are. There's another one in the street down there. Shaughnessy's going to pan around and show that to you. She's going to zoom up on that. All right, I'll give you another hint. November 22nd, 1963. A very pivotal day in American history. I'm going to get a little closer to the camera just because of the noise behind me. But I know for Shaughnessy and I, we were both born after 1963, so we don't remember that event. But there's an event happened in our lives, 9/11, and it's one of those where you say you remember where you were when you heard it. I've heard people like my dad and people who are older than me say they remember where they were at when they heard the news that President John F. Kennedy had been shot in Dallas. Those two X's I showed you are where the first shots rang out, and the last X is where the final shot rang out. That was the kill shot. So we're going to show you some features right here in the Dealey Plaza area of Dallas. This is where President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. This year in November will be 60 years. It happened, and people who were alive then or old enough to remember exactly where they were when that happened. So we're going to show you some things here. This is going to be a little short video, but I'm going to say some things. I know there's a lot of theories about Kennedy's assassination. I am going to make an observation. I'm not going to endorse or debunk any other theories, okay? That's not the purpose of this video. People have their own beliefs, but I'm going to tell you some things that we've observed. So I'm going to show you a few sites right here around Dealey Plaza in Dallas where President Kennedy was assassinated in November of 1963. Now, the first thing I want to show you is this building across the street, the Dallas County Administration Building. It may look just like any other building, but it isn't. If you go up to the next to last floor, you will see in that window a white box in the window. That is the spot. Let me zoom up on that spot. That is the spot where allegedly Lee Harvey Oswald assassinated President Kennedy from. That's where he was at when they say he fired the shots. Now, you say, why do you say allegedly? Now, you know the story of Lee Harvey Oswald. The official report is that he acted alone. He did not have help in the assassination. I do not buy that. I'm not saying he didn't, it wasn't a part of it. I'm not saying he didn't shoot from up there, but I'm going to give you my reasons here in just a moment. But that's where Lee Harvey Oswald was standing. And obviously just a couple of days later, he was shot and killed by Jack Ruby. I think that's the only murder ever taken place on live television before, when Jack Ruby shot Lee Harvey Oswald for shooting President Kennedy. So that's the building where Oswald is said to be standing. And here is the road where the presidential motorcade was going down. And then of course down there in the road, about where that black car just now, that's the first set of X's, or the first shots. And then there's the second, about where the white truck is now. That's where the kill shot took place. So I'm going to walk back over there. This area where my wife's standing over there and the other people are standing, that's called the grassy knoll. Now I'll say more about the grassy knoll here in just a moment. Getting a picture. This is actually an excerpt from the speech he was going to deliver that day that he was shot, before he ever got to deliver it. Now this area that Shaughnessy's panning on now is what's called the grassy knoll. Now you may have heard things associated with Kennedy's assassination. One of them is called the shadow at the knoll, or the shadow at the grassy knoll. And the reason people say that is there's speculation there was another shooter that was either here at the grassy knoll, and I actually have a different theory, but I'll tell you why and what it is here in just a minute. But this is the area known as the grassy knoll. Now, what I want to say about this is, obviously I wasn't there and I'm no expert on this, and I'm not an expert on guns or weapons. We own guns, but as far as, there's something that doesn't make sense about this. If Lee Harvey Oswald, pan back over that way, that's the building I just showed you a moment ago, where they say that Lee Harvey Oswald shot President Kennedy from. Now the motorcade was coming right down this road. You see where those X's are, that's where the first shot rang out. I'm not saying Oswald didn't fire that one, but I'm saying down here, pan over to the other X down here. That's where, if you've ever seen the film, there's one existing film today of President Kennedy's assassination. That's what's known as the Zapruder. I'm not saying it wrong. The Zapruder film. Now, if you look at the final shot, it's hard to watch. We watched it the other night several times just in preparation for making this. If you look at that final shot, when President Kennedy was shot, his body goes backwards, not forwards. So, somebody explained to me how if Oswald fired that last shot and acted alone, how that shot came from up there. President Kennedy was right here. By that time, his back would have been to that building. How would the shot knock his body backwards instead of forwards? Can anybody explain that? So that's why a lot of people believe there was another shot that they saw a shadow. Some people claim they saw a shadowy figure, and that there were other shots that rang out down here. I have a hard time believing that there was another shot on the knoll, because that would still put President Kennedy in front of it. And again, the final shot, he went backwards. I think they had to be further down or on the overpass. That's my opinion, or somewhere in that area. But sorry about the noise. We're right here on the road. It's a very busy road. Move over this way a little bit. Just there's things about it that don't add up. If Oswald acted alone, how was he able to stand up there and fire a shot that would knock the president back towards him? You tell me. Seems to me he may have been in on it. I'm not going to go as far as say he was framed. He may have very well been in on it. But it seems to me that there was somebody else involved. We watched this film how many times the other night?
Numerous times.
Numerous times.
Just because of the angle and the way it happened.
And I know sometimes we get official lines that we're just told and supposed to believe, but I think a lot of times if you think for yourself, you'll see through things. You'll see things don't quite add up. And I'm just going to say that at this spot, the president lost his life. Now there was a sign right here. The sign's no longer here, but actually it might have been up here just a little bit. The only film, like I say, that exists is the Zapruder films, and Mr. Zapruder was standing up here somewhere filming, and there was a sign right here. And as President Kennedy's coming down his motorcade, he's waving to the crowd. You can see him waving at people. Then the shot rings out, and once he comes out from the other side of that sign, he's been shot. You can see him. We looked at the other night. We played it how many times? And he grabbed himself up here. Again, why do you grab yourself up? Well, I mean, that's possible. If maybe the shot was fired from behind him, maybe went through, I don't know. Maybe that part's possible. But then the final shot that took the president's life was fired from right there. That's where he was at. Where did that shot come from?
And just the angle of the impact, it's...
Now, I worry about the comments we're going to get here. So, I don't know if I may disable comments for this one, but I am kind of curious as to what people think. I do ask that we not get political, that we just kind of keep it neutral, but that's the thing I can't get past, is why the president went backwards at that final shot if the shot was fired from behind him. So...
Could you put a link of that video that we watched
I might
in the
could, but
comments?
it's very easy to find. Just Zapruder, Z-A-P-R-U-D-E-R film. It's the only known film coverage of the president's assassination. But it's kind of just standing here, it's kind of surreal to know that the president of the United States, regardless of what you thought of him, whether you was for him or against him or disagreed with him or not, I wasn't alive, so I can't say. But just the fact that a president went right through here and lost his life right here, that's something to, it makes you really think. It's just standing here, it's kind of a surreal type feeling. But anyway, I thought y'all would be interested in this. I'm going to pan around here just a little bit and just show you some of the area known as Dealey Plaza. And I'm going to be showing you some more of this area here in just a moment. We're going to be showing you some scenes that were filmed in a popular television show. But that's the old red courthouse there. That was a courthouse here in Dallas County. I think it was built in 1890. But and over here's Reunion Tower. We're going up in there later. But right here, if you've ever heard of the area called the Grassy Knoll, this is it. This is the Grassy Knoll right here, where a lot of people believe there was another gunman. I think it's very possible maybe behind that wall, or in that area. I don't know if the wall was there then, but in that area possibly. But that tree right there is where some people thought they saw a shadowy figure maybe looking through the branches. So I don't know. The official line is that was just a shadow of a tree branch. But you tell me. I'm curious to know what everybody thinks. Again, keep the comments decent. Not political, but just tell me what y'all think. But anyway, 60 years ago this year, President Kennedy lost his life right here in this spot. So, I'm not saying like this video, there's nothing to like about that. But anyway, we wanted to bring you this while we were here. So thank y'all for watching, and have a blessed day.